Bill Walton. Bill Walton is a weird dude. I don't know if it's because he has spent his entire life in California. California is a beautiful state, great weather in most places, but California, it has a tendency to produce some of the strangest people in the country. Bill Walton being a prime example. I don't know if he's weird because he ingested too many hallucinogens back in the 60s and 70s. Maybe it fried his brain, caused him to speak like he has marbles in his mouth. I don't know. I can't explain it. All I know is Bill Walton is one weird dude. He's also the worst broadcaster on television. I don't know how this man has been allowed to be on the air for 25 or maybe 30 years, but this is ESPN we're talking about. The network is not exactly known for making good decisions when it comes to on air talent. This is the same network that gave Katie Nolan millions of dollars to not draw an audience. If there's one thing we all know about ESPN, they are not afraid to talk about political issues. ESPN, it used to stand for Entertainment Sports Programming Network. Over the last few years, their moniker has changed to Egregiously Shitty Political Network. If woke politics gives you a boner, ESPN's the network for you. If watching Stephen A. Smith embarrass himself gets you high, ESPN is the network for you. For 2 years now, we have reacted countless times to political or social issues that were broached on ESPN. Now, I'm not going to sit here and rattle off all the examples. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But I bring all this up because something interesting happened over the weekend. Actually, I think this actually happened on Thursday night, but whatever. Bill Walton, Dave Pasch, they are calling the Stanford, Arizona game on ESPN Thursday night. Now, you won't hear it in this clip, but from what I can tell, they're talking about Arizona being down 7 points at home, like it's some kind of insurmountable lead that they're not going to come back from. They are down 7 points in the first half. Ring the alarm. Bill Walton and Dave Pasch, they begin bantering back and forth, and something strange happens. Bill Walton, it appears like he's cut off mid-sentence. There's 8, maybe 9 seconds of nothing but silence. Check it out for yourself.
This game's not over.
I know, I'm just making that point, though.
Sure. If the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, we'll have trouble.
You're acting like they're up 20. They're down 7 with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
And if the Russians invade us tomorrow,
here's Dallaire, going to drive on Terry.
There's been a lot of speculation going around as to what happened. Some are saying Bill Walton simply lost his train of thought, which is understandable. Hell, half the time, Bill Walton doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So to lose his train of thought mid-sentence, that's not that far of a stretch. Others are saying Dave Pasch signaled to Bill Walton to shut the hell up. Whether he tapped him on the hand, gave him a glance, they are saying Dave Pasch got Bill Walton to stop talking. He actually told the Oregonian last year, since working with Bill Walton, he has been tasked with keeping him in check. He talked about an NBA game they called together several years ago. LeBron James was still playing in Cleveland. LeBron was frustrated about something. He threw his headband at the scorer's table, and this triggered Bill Walton. This was before being triggered was popular. Today, this would be no big deal. Identifiers on Twitter, they are triggered 24 hours a day. Faking hurt feelings, it's turned into an occupation. Jamel Hill, she has made a career by being offended. But anyway, LeBron James, he throws his headband at the scorer's table. Bill Walton starts screaming about it being a technical foul. At the time, Dave Pasch had just started working alongside Bill Walton. He was under the impression that his job was to be the play-by-play guy. He assumed wrong. When you're working with Bill Walton, you're also responsible for babysitting a child in a giant's body, making sure he takes his bathroom breaks, changing diapers, and ensuring he doesn't say anything stupid. Mike Tirico called Dave Pasch the next day, informed him of his responsibilities. He said, you have to keep Bill in check. You can't let him go off on tangents. I guess ESPN gets embarrassed from time to time by Bill Walton, which begs the question, why the hell do they continue to let him call basketball games? So, Dave Pasch signaling to Bill Walton to shut the hell up. Also, not that big of a stretch. But there is another theory floating around explaining why there was dead silence for so long. And that theory is ESPN cut Bill Walton's mic. I did some research. I couldn't find too many other examples of ESPN cutting someone's mic on the air. Back in November, it was reported that they cut Draymond Green's mic when he was promoting his new podcast on Colin Cowherd's network. That ended up being false. It was simply audio issues. They were also accused of cutting David Letterman's mic when he was on the Manningcast in December. David Letterman, he was telling a story about Roger Goodell. He pretty much finishes the story, but before he can conclude, ESPN abruptly cut to a commercial break. The game was going into halftime, though, which is usually a hard break for the networks. It just looked to me like Peyton and Eli Manning didn't know to cut David Letterman off. They're not experienced on live television, so kind of makes sense. But, it would not surprise me if ESPN cut Bill Walton's mic. For one, Russia is a controversial issue right now. ESPN doesn't mind talking politics when they know the narrative. There's only one narrative allowed at the worldwide leader in woke, the woke narrative. They don't mind stoking controversy when it furthers the agenda. They don't mind politics when it comes to victimizing minorities, victimizing women. Gender pay is the way. Historically, though, ESPN has steered away from political statement when it comes to war. And two, and this kind of relates to the first point, Bill Walton has a reputation for saying stupid shit. If you don't believe me, here is an example.
You're asking me?
Well, you are the analyst. I don't have anybody else to ask. There's no one else in the building. Remember, there's no fans here except family members.
I'm tired of your complaints about that.
Look, there's no complaining. It's just stating a fact for people that might be tuning in that don't know.
These are, oh yeah, there's a pandemic going on. Please, there's public health issues. There's not fans in the building because people are dying of COVID, okay? And people are concerned about that. Well, are we going to listen to the doctors or not? Isn't that kind of why we're in this ongoing program? Because people don't listen to the doctors? Are you part of the problem or the solution?
You might have noticed the empty arena and think this clip was from 2020 or 2021. This was less than 2 months ago. Bill Walton, during a college basketball game, stoking COVID fear to anyone who will listen, which at that point was no one. The majority of the country had moved on from the COVID, except of course the mainstream media and ESPN. They were still pretending the COVID was a never-ending fungus. Once you catch it, your life is over. The dumbest part, though, of what Bill Walton said in that clip, are we going to listen to the doctors? The answer, Bill, is no. Why in the fuck would we listen to the doctors? At least the doctors that they presented to us. Fauci has been wrong on every point when it comes to the COVID. He hasn't been right about something in 2 years. Most of us, we got tired of looking at the lizard face in March of 2020, but it took the media 18 months to get to that point, which, you know, it's expected. As you guys know, if you want to be woke, you must be hideous. So they replaced Fauci with the beautiful Rochelle Walensky. She's a hell of a lot better to look at, but the problem is she has that Kamala Harris stare. You know the stare I'm talking about. She will be mid-sentence and come to the realization she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. But anyway, to hell with the COVID. If this were an agenda-driven channel, I would tell you guys that there's no doubt in my mind ESPN cut Bill Walton's mic. We shit on ESPN constantly. It would fit the narrative for that to be the case. Now, they haven't addressed what happened Thursday night, but I don't think there's anything to address here. There is a reason I played the clip that I played you earlier. I had to dig around for a while to find it. There is another clip floating around, mainly on conservative sites. It is half the length of the clip that I played for you. I'm going to play it now because it completely changes the context of the conversation. Here it is.
You're acting like they're up 20. They're down 7 with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
And if the Russians invade us tomorrow,
here's delay.
When I first saw this, I thought it was obvious. ESPN cut his mic. But as I researched this a bit further, found a more complete clip, I just don't think that's the case. I don't think Bill Walton ever intended to finish his statement. He had just mentioned, if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, we're in trouble. Dave Pasch interrupts him. Then he finishes the point with, if the Russians invade us tomorrow, and that was it. I mean, it was definitely awkward, but that's what Bill Walton is. He's awkward. He's weird. The 8 or 9 seconds of silence, it's probably Dave Pasch being speechless. What the fuck is he talking about? Why do they keep pairing me with the basketball version of Joe Biden? That's my take on it. Let me hear your take. What do you think happened? Did ESPN cut Bill Walton's mic? Did Dave Pasch signal him to shut the hell up? Or is this just another example of Bill Walton creating an awkward moment? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.